You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show. This show is made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons. If you'd like to see this show continue, consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. And thank you for your support. Say, kids, how would you like to build your very own Driftwood Gulch action playset? Stay tuned after the show to find out how.
Saturday Morning Theater proudly presents The Tales of Deputy Guppy. Return with us now to the thrilling days of not too long ago, when the West was wild and the rivers in the West were even wilder. Luckily, there was one fish to maintain law and order, one fish to reel in those who dare disturb the peace and tranquility of Driftwood Gulch, one fish to stand for truth, justice, and honor in the untamed rivers of the Wild West. Deputy Guppy! Today's adventure, the Grimshaw Ambush. In our last episode, Deputy Guppy and Ringo were escorting Mr. Hammerjaw to his new gold claim outside of Driftwood Gulch. Little did they know they were riding directly into an ambush.
Here's the Grimshaw cabin. There's no sign of anyone around.
Yeah, it's quiet. Almost too quiet.
Perhaps the Grimshaw siblings are out working the gold claim?
Perhaps.
Or perhaps they are standing behind you with their guns drawn.
What the?
I keep facing forward and keep them fins where I can seize them.
They got the drop on us, Gup.
Easy, Ringo.
Your brother Cyrus sent me here to relieve you of your gold claim. I paid him $300 sand dollars.
And we aim to relieve you of that other $300.
Yeah, and then make sure the three of you ain't never heard from again.
But isn't your mother gravely ill?
The only thing that's making me ill is you bringing the law out here when we were thinking you'd come alone.
Afternoon, Mrs. Grimshaw. Back to your old ways, I see.
A fish has got to make a living.
This little scheme is a good one, I'll give you that much.
Thank you.
Bad news is, it ain't gonna work out for you.
That's so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the good news is that you'll get to spend a lot of quality time with your boys in jail.
Hi, you talk tough for a fish that's completely surrounded. Do get their guns.
Sure thing, Ma.
Peter, get the rope from over yonder in the barn. Tie these three up.
Right.
And you, tenderfoot, toss down that $300 you were bringing to us.
I suppose this means you were correct about there being no claim, Deputy.
Tough lesson to learn. You may be out the money, but you're still alive.
For now, I said toss down that money.
Here you go, you mischief maker.
I got all the guns, Ma.
Now, the three of you are going to get down off your horses one by one so Peter can tie you up. And remember, Dude's got your guns and I got a shotgun pointed straight on you. Soon as it's dark, you three are going to pay a little visit to the abandoned mine.
It ain't no use, Gup. They tied us up tighter than a remora on a shark.
I'm ever so sorry for getting you into this mess, Deputy. And you too, Ringo.
Oh, heck, Guppy and I have been in worse scrapes before. Why, I bet right now Guppy's coming up with a brilliant plan to get us free and put those ruffians behind bars. You are, aren't you, Gup?
Well, I'm trying to, but the outlook ain't so good, Ringo. Ma Grimshaw and her boys are in the house right now discussing what to do with us, and we're tied up out here. No guns, our seahorses are in the barn. I'm not seeing a way out of this.
Remember how I said that I was coming out here to live the rugged, Wild West life?
Oh, this was a little more rugged than you were expecting, Mr. Hammerjaw?
Perhaps a bit, yes. But just because I'm a city slicker who, I'm ashamed to say, was easily duped, does not mean I came out here unprepared.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, when I was a little minnow, my grandmother gave me a pocket knife that she said I should always carry to be prepared for anything.
Smart woman.
Mr. Hammerjaw, are you saying you followed your grandmother's advice all these years later and came to the West prepared?
Indeed I have. The pocket knife is in my vest pocket. If only I could reach it.
Well, they've tied us back to back here, but let me see if I can reach behind me and get it. Hold still. Got it. Now, let me start working on these ropes.
All right, Deputy. I reckon it's dark enough to ride you three on out to the abandoned mine and make sure no one sees you again. Peter, do get them to their feet and untie them.
Right, Ma. Come on. Get up, you three.
Now!
What? How'd you three get untied?
Mr. Hammerjaw here came prepared with his pocket knife. While you three were jawing away inside, we got free, retrieved our guns, and now we got the drop on you.
Yeah, drop that shotgun.
I always said that Sheriff Bass leaving you in charge was a bad idea. You're just too smart for your own good.
I'll take that as a compliment. Now, Mr. Hammerjaw, if you wouldn't mind, get some rope there so we can tie up the Grimshaws for their trip to jail.
Absolutely.
Well, how do you feel about your first Wild West adventure, Mr. Hammerjaw?
I tell you, Ringo, it's my first and last. As soon as we're back in town, I'm on the first stagecoach back to New York. This is enough Wild West razzmatazz to last me a lifetime.
Deputy Guppy saves the day again, and Mr. Hammerjaw has had his fill of adventure in the Wild West. I bet you haven't, though. That's why you'll be tuning in to the next exciting episode of The Tales of Deputy Guppy!
Episode number 210 of The Tales of Deputy Guppy starred Gentleman Jervis as Mr. Hammerjaw, Leslie Harman as Ma Grimshaw, Russ Walko as Grimshaw, Nate Begle as Peter Grimshaw, Chris Sheets as Ringo, Grant Baciocco as Deputy Guppy, and Kevin Berntson as the narrator. Sound design by Christopher Green of GreenStreams Studio. Find out more at greenstreamstudio.ca. Music for this episode by Dan Ring. Say, kids, did you know that this episode of The Tales of Deputy Guppy comes with a piece of the Driftwood Gulch action playset that is all ready for you to download, print, color, cut, and assemble? All you gotta do is head on over to DeputyGuppy.com and click on the link to the free PDF in the post for this episode. Once you add this new building to your playset, we would love to see a picture of it. Send a picture of your Driftwood Gulch action playset to hello@SaturdayMorningMedia.com and stay tuned for more buildings and figures coming with future episodes so you can build your very own Driftwood Gulch. This show is a production of Saturday Morning Media and made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who've gone to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up a monthly pledge for as little as $1 a month. Huge thanks to Shay Stewart, Myrn Lafferty, Jeff Peterson, Dale Gadania, Stephen Staver, Jackie Klimo, Melissa Crawford, Dave Slusher of the Evil Genius Chronicles, Mike Conflin, Dorothy Baciocco, John D., Kathy Crawford, Brian Greer, Carrie Whitney, Chuck Tomasi from the Technorama podcast, Chris Foster, Stephen Ing, Clinton of ComedyForecast.com, Vicky DeVries, Mike Wobschall, Twitter user Butts and Gear, aka Wildcat, Eve Cunning, Mike Hamilton, Gaston Moreno, Reed Loveland, Ivan Asquith, Vanessa Whitney, Peggy Etra, Kristen Hogan of Squid Friends, David Akers, Zoe Palladino, Ellen Multari, Christopher Harris, Rachel Jackson of Vox Fabuli Puppets, Carolyn Weisner, John Petty, Rachel Hansen, Darcy Prevost, Fernando Torres, Ron McAdams, Pearly Q Magic, Jason Domer, Lee Barrett, Casino Skunk, The Misty Minute, Peter Capesser, Night Gig Studios, Joelle Recht for Tig, Adrian Rose Leonard, Earth to John Francis, RJ, Ginger J Fitz, Megapodtastic, Paul Brunel, Jamie Hitchcock, Catherine Hannaford, Alan Gratz, Rachel Gibbous, John R. Donald, Jude Major, Miss Motti and her buddies, Molly Smith, Phil Goodman, Emma Buntrock Muller, Jennifer Ballier, Nate Beagle, David Packman, The Trivia Puppet Company, and Annette Mateo of Puppetlandia. If you'd like to support this show and the other fun content from Saturday Morning Media, become a patron. Head on over to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up your monthly pledge today. You can also tell a friend about the show or leave the show a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for listening. This show is copyright 2018 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco, executive producer. All rights reserved. www.SaturdayMorningMedia.com.
You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.